is Jessica Webster.
And this is Sam Pogue of the Fitness Break Room podcast. Sit back, take a well-deserved break, and learn about the journey that helps shape the most successful fitness professionals in the industry today.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fitness Break Room podcast. I'm here in Austin, Texas, and blessed to be joined by Lisa McDonald, head instructor for the women's program for Gym Jones.
Thank you.
It's great to have you down here. So I met Lisa back in April when I was in Salt Lake City for the FitCon Utah event, and we popped down to the gym and just wanted to say what's up, and it turned into we have these great alignments together that how fitness should be about community and how it's not about dogma and how we can all share space together. We talked about your new seminar being really focused towards women's goals and their bodies, inherently how we're different. Maybe you can tell everybody a little bit about what goes into the women's seminar.
So what I did when I moved to Salt Lake, so I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I started my fitness journey when I was a horseback rider and I was competitive.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had 4 horses and traveled year round doing that. And riding takes up a lot of time. You're first of all in the barn a whole lot, and you treat your horses like athletes, and you go you switch days with them. And it's a lot of care. So it's not like you just show up and unzip your tennis racket, play, and put it away and leave. You have to get them out and groom them and ride them and warm them up and cool them down, and all the care that goes into it. So when I quit riding, I needed to fill that void of the feeling of self-accomplishment, the feeling of working out. There was a lot of there was a big void there that I wanted to fill. So I started working out, and I got into fitness. And the more I learned, the more I loved it. And I started doing like weightlifting stuff, which I loved. I did more kettlebell stuff. Oddly enough, it kind of mimics riding, so it's a lot of glute, DOMs. So I was kind of good at it. I was like, I kind of get this. This is kind of fun. And I became the girl in my group of friends that was like becoming the gym rat. I love to go. I was like, let's train twice a day and go to the gym twice a day because this is fun. And I really started to get into it, and I started to learn more and more. And I fell head over heels with it. And so that's what I decided to do. I went to school for that. I also had a lot of stomach issues. I was diagnosed with everything: gastritis, colitis, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, bleeding ulcers, hiatal hernia. Like, I've had it all.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like one pill after the next pill. I was like, oh, this is colitis. Oh, this is gastritis. What does that even mean? It means you have an upset stomach. I mean, there's no cure for it. Take probiotics. No, take fiber. No, take, and so no one really, the doctors didn't know. So I had to do a lot of research on my own, which a lot of us have to do when it comes to nutrition or diet or any of that. So I started digging around in there, and I went to school for nutrition and exercise physiology. So I've taken classes in both things, and that's where my education is. And so I started training, and when I wanted to get more into the physical fitness thing, I joined a gym called Art of Strength. And it was the kind of the coolest gym in Detroit. It was this badass trainer who had this military kind of style where he yelled at people, no bullshit, pick it up and put it down, and if you don't do it right, you drop it, and start over again, and that kind of, it was hardcore, right? So I went in there to train at that gym. I was like, oh yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm badass, and I hung in there. I did pretty good until they asked me to do a pull-up. And I went to the pull-up bar and they're like, do a pull-up. And I was like, all right. I remember doing pull-ups when I was in middle school, and I did like the most of my class. Like, I could do a pull-up. So I jump on the bar, and there I am, like hanging there like a dead fish. I'm like, not moving, like just not. And I was like, holy shit, like I'm Mrs. Badass, like do 2 workouts a day at the gym of doing like elliptical and looking around doing what other people were doing with weights. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. I was like, wow, I've got a lot to learn here. And I'm glad that I took it that way instead of taking it like, oh, this is stupid. I can't do a pull-up, so fuck you guys. Right. Like, which is an easy thing to do. And I was like, no, I have a lot to learn. And so the more I wanted to learn and be exposed. And so I just really started to dip my foot into a bunch of different things, like, talking about Pilates and yoga, and that wasn't getting me really where I wanted to go, so more in the weightlifting realm. And then I ended up joining this gym that I couldn't do the pull-up at, which was called Art of Strength. It's a version of Strong First, kind of. Okay. The main guys there used to work with Pavel, and they kind of split, and so it's kind of a version of that. So I just did a bunch of kettlebell stuff. I did kettlebell stuff for 4 years. Okay. And battle ropes and kettlebells and all that kind of stuff. A lot of proper movement patterns and studying movement, which is what I did with horses. Like everything riding is a lot of studying movement. And it's kind of, I found out that's where my passion is. And then I started meeting people from Jim Jones. And I always wanted to learn more than the Art of Strength way. And their way was the kettlebell way or the highway.
Yeah.
Like it was like you do it their way or you get out of the gym. Like they were very it's our way, and it's exactly our way. And even like and one of the issues I ran into is I had a guy with a kettlebell, racked kettlebell, and the kettlebell couldn't lay on his wrist because he had broken his bone. Ugh. But like they wouldn't take no for it. Was like, oh, if he couldn't rack it right, and you don't get to use, you don't get the. And I was like, it's not that he physically can't do it. Like it's not like he's being an ass. Like he can't do it. And I hated that. Like it was a very narrow. I was like, what about Olympic lifting? Oh no, kettlebells are the best tool in the world. Like what about no, kettlebells are the best tool in the world. It's like no, there's more to it than that, in my opinion. Like I'm like, there's a place for everything. Like you can't tell me Pilates is bad. I see a lot of women who do Pilates who are strong. Women who do people who do yoga who are strong. I mean, you can't tell me that there's one way to do things. Yeah. Anyway, so I started meeting people from the Jim Jones community. And everyone I met, I liked more than the last person. Yeah. I mean, it was like, how are there this many cool people who are this like-minded? And that's what they think. They think that there's one way to skin a cat. Like there's more than one way to get this done. And they didn't scream at you. No one screamed or yelled. They were about hard work, kind of putting your head down and doing the hard work, not making a scene about it, not flailing on the ground about it. It was like, no, you're going to do the hardest work you've ever done in your life. Yeah. And then you're going to walk away or walk it off with poise and and know you're capable of more. Yeah. And I loved that. I'm like, these people are like just on it. And no pun intended. Yeah. I
was waiting for it because people like, right? I'm like, no, we never hear it.
Yeah,
ever.
Right.
Yeah, so it's good.
So that's kind of what drew me to them. And so I actually wanted to come out. And I met Rob, who's not my husband, because we just have so much in common, which was interesting. It was a blast to get to know him and his community and what he's done with Jim Jones. Yeah. All of them. It's not him alone. It's a collective group of people. But I just loved their philosophy, and the mind is primary. So it's all about mental strength leads to physical strength. Okay. And so like the mind will lead, the body will follow. And so a lot of us don't train our minds like we should. And doing something that's mentally challenging and getting through it physically is sometimes the most rewarding work, because like for me, for example, I did this, one of their challenges, one of the things that we do at our gym is a 60-minute row for meters for time. Okay. And don't ask me why I did it like this, but I went into the gym one day by myself, and back in Detroit, we had a Jim Jones instructor in Detroit, and so I trained with him. I went in there by myself, and the rower faced a blank wall, and I decided to row without music, without lights on. I'm just going to row 60 minutes, which is the dumbest idea you can possibly have. Because 15 minutes in, I was like, this is stupid. Yeah. I didn't eat enough. I ate too much. I'm thirsty. I have a headache. I didn't sleep enough. I should do this another day. I have a hangnail. Like any excuse I could possibly think
of. The shit that pops into your mind.
No, it's isn't it crazy? Yeah. So I'm like thinking of all this random shit of why to quit. And I'm like, okay, well, don't be a puss. Like make it at least 30 minutes and then you can quit. And I got to 30 minutes and I was like, well, I'm already at 30 minutes. Like I'll just do 45, so at least I've gotten a workout in today. Yeah. But like I'm not doing this for an hour. This is stupid. You can't do this. You're not even capable. What's the point? I went down that hole. This is stupid. There wasn't even no point to this. This can't even be good for you. Right. Like it's just totally spiraling. And I got to 30 minutes went by, and I was like, all right, like I'm 32. By the time I looked up, it was 32 minutes. I was like, I'm all right, past the 30-minute mark, so I might as well stay in for 45. So there I am, 45 minutes. I'm like, oh, I only have 15 minutes left. I'll finish. And I like surpassed my meter goal. I by I think 300-400 meters, I went over the standard, and I got done, and I was like, whoa, Lisa, like you went through like this spiral and this whole thing of emotion. And like, why were you so negative? It was just negative self-talk, negative self-talk, negative self-talk. And getting out of it, I was like, that felt really good to finish. Yeah. Like I did it. I finished. I did it. I hung in there when I didn't want to. I got through the negative self-talk. That was actually a lot more. I felt better about getting through that mentally than I did physically. Like, oh, cool. Physically, you did the task. Right. Cool. But like, Lisa, you got over like a huge mental like roadblock, trying to talk yourself off a ledge. Like what was that about? And so just playing with that through my fitness journey has been really interesting, and really pushing past the point of like, oh, I can't do this. It really can you though? Like, is your body really ready to quit? Right. Could you do 5 more? Like if I'm asking you to do 10 of something and you're like 8 or 9, you're like, oh, I'm struggling. But if I asked you to do 15, would you make it through 10 and struggle at 14, 15 because you know it's the end?
Right.
Or are you actually really struggling? Why are you quitting when you have one left? So I think that all the mind over matter stuff is huge, in what I do and the way that we train at Jim Jones.
I don't think I knew all that. I mean, I knew Jim Jones being a work capacity focused system and being able to understand your energy systems and what you're working, right? Mm-hmm. And
we do teach that too. Yeah, so
right.
That's part of our education, right?
The pillars are what? Strength, power, and
endurance. We touch on endurance a bit. Yeah, it's a lot of strength and power, though, I think.
And I think that's so powerful. I couldn't tell you the source that I found it from, but it was like they changed the time of the qualifying for Boston for the marathon, right?
Right.
And it was like, it used to be like 3:30 for men, and then they dropped it to 3:15, and people were in an uproar because they're like, they couldn't fathom making the extra 15 minutes up, but like, who said 3:30 was the goal, right? And then all of a sudden it's 3:15, so now everybody's hitting 3.
But isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
How everyone's hitting it.
Totally.
Yeah. And so that's what's funny about a standard, and part of what we preach in our seminars is we have a list of standards.
Yeah.
Like even in the women's seminar, I'm going to go through the list of standards, and it doesn't mean if you don't hit one of those, you're not fit. That's not what it means. It gives you a target, but then there are people who surpass it by a ton.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't let this limit you. Like, don't let double body weight deadlift, like, if I make it into see, people do one of two things. They make it into something that can never reach, so they get totally mind fucked over something.
Yeah. And
they can never get there because it's like they're too stressed out. Or you have people who cap themselves. Like, I have double body weight deadlift, that's good. It's like, no, like, if you're capable of more, do more.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good. If two double weight body weight is easy for you, don't stop there. Like,
right.
unleash your inner strength. I mean, so that's we want to make sure that our standards aren't limiting anybody or making something out of nothing too.
What's up, everybody? Jessica here. Man, finding that perfect part of the show to cut in with a message is tough, but this seems like an okay place to do it. First off, friendly reminder, we have a video version of every show, which you can find at fitnessbreakroom.com. Secondly, you guys have been so supportive of the break room. With your help, we totally blew past our first goal of hitting 30 reviews. We're almost at 50 now, which makes us feel so grateful that we're a part of a community that proactively gives back to people like us. We're still hunting for that elusive, new, and noteworthy placement in iTunes. So if you haven't given us a written review yet, that would mean so much to Sam and I and the rest of our guests if you could take that several seconds out of your day to do that. I also thought it could be fun to publicly recognize our supporters. So if you have given us a written review, look out for a shout out on Thursdays at the end of our breakdown episodes. And if you send me a screenshot of your review, I'll give you an extra entry into our monthly fitness industry night giveaway, where Sam and I pick one subscriber to win hundreds of dollars worth of fitness swag every last Friday of the month. This month of December 2017 is a huge assortment of Onnit supplements and golden earbuds. You can see a list of the prize items and enter to win at fitnessbreakroom.com. Keep in mind, we're not paid by any advertisers for these giveaways. We're committed to only partnering with companies and people we love and trust. So the Fitness Industry Night giveaways are a direct thank you from us and our partners to you for being a part of a fitness community that's making the world a stronger place. So if you haven't entered to win, go to our website, fitnessbreakroom.com, to do that. And you can email me your screenshot at jessica@fitnessbreakroom.com, or you can hit me up on Instagram at jessicawebster_. Okay, that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of the show, and thanks so much in advance for your reviews and your support.
I love it. I'm so excited for the weekend. Like, I didn't know that was the mindset behind the programming. I thought it was looking at your energy systems and programming and being able to manage strength. Because typically, like, strength and endurance don't go hand in hand, right? So, like, being able to crush a 2K and then be able to pull double body weight, but then the story that you tell behind it, I think that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Right? And what that applies to.
Yeah. And we love to focus on things that people aren't necessarily good at. So when you talk about working with other people, like, we don't tell you, like, oh, don't go to Onnit and educate yourself this way, or we love modalities, right? Like, it's like, educate yourself in any way that you can. Use every tool there is in the toolbox to be a better you, or be a better fitness expert, or be a better athlete, or wherever you're trying to go. But it's like, it's combining all these things and then putting the mental aspect. Do what you're not good at.
Totally.
Like, do the thing that is, is your biggest challenge. Like, my biggest challenge personally is breathing. A lot of cardio, hard, like a 2K row, and those like sprinty, like that 7-minute stuff, like is the hardest thing for me. Like, that's something that I love to work on, because for me, getting through that mentally is way more challenging than anything physical. And
especially because it's very individual, right?
What's easy for me could be difficult for you, and vice versa, right? Like, you could be like, oh no, I love pulling a PR 2K row, and I'm like, what? You're crazy,
right? I don't, for the record. I rowed in college, and I hate the rower. And not because I'm like unbelievably tall by any means, but like fairly athletic. But it was a club team, right? And so I'm not 6'4". I mean, I wish I was, but I'm not. But rowing, I mean, it's a ton of fun. I think it's a great tool,
right? Yeah.
But you're right. Like, I don't like to do it because most of the time I work out by myself, and it's like I jump on, I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and then it's like, I'd rather go squat.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I'm not built for a ton of like aerobic capacity work, but lately I've been like, all right, my strength is there whether I'm working on it or not. Like, I took a year off of squatting, and I still hit 405 for a single.
Strength is the one thing that never really goes away.
Yeah.
We have a guy named Cliff. He's in his 60s now. And he used to be an Olympic lifter when he was a teenager, like in his teens and 20s. He came into the gym. I mean, he's out benching and out squatting most of the guys in our gym in his 60s. Hasn't lifted weight. By the way, he got like obese. He was at a certain point of his life. He hasn't lifted since he was that young.
I think he was there when Shane and I were in.
He may have been.
And there was like
older dude, just crushing
Rob did a bench competition, and it was like with the football player.
Yes,
with Dion.
and Cliff beat them.
Yes.
And he was like, "You're gonna let this old man beat you?"
Yes. He was giving him shit because he came in to do it. He plays for the Falcons.
Is it Nate?
No, tight end.
Plays with
Anyway, Samoan guy.
Yeah.
But
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He came in and like everybody was giving him shit. They're like, "Oh, you're trying to rematch this," and he tried and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
It was like the reps, like a pyramid, like 10 reps down.
It's 10 reps, and then you so at a certain weight. I can't remember what it is. And then you strip the 10, and it's 10 reps. 10, all the way to the bars. Has 10 pounds on it, and you have to go 10 all the way back up the ladder. So it's down the ladder and back up the ladder.
That would crush me.
Oh my god, I can't.
Lately, I've been jumping on the ski erg though. Like, a couple days ago, I did a 2K. Last night, I did a 5K.
Good for you.
This morning, I did 4 500-meter sprints.
You are playing on the ski erg.
I am, and I like it better than the rower because I don't get beat up as much.
Yeah, my hips and my knees feel better on a skier than it does on the rower.
Yes, and running, I don't necessarily like to go running very often. Just because it's like you run out there, it's the mental thing, right? It's like you get halfway there, you're like, okay, I'm done, and I still got to turn around and come back.
Yeah.
Like, my only incentive to want to go running is either I'm running with some girl, or or it's like, okay, I'm gonna go get a tan. Right. I'm gonna go work on my tan.
I'm gonna get a workout and some sun.
Yeah,
I totally understand that.
So it's been really great stepping out of my comfort zone because I came through like powerlifting and Olympic lifting, and then I got really into kettlebells. Some of my friends in the gym I used to train at was an SFG gym. You'll meet Mira later today, who owns that gym, and which is great. And I love the foundation that I have from it.
Yeah.
And then I got down here.
Because it builds a great foundation. I mean, mind you, like, I went into Jim Jones with that foundation of the battle rope work, the Tabata work, swinging, squatting, strict pressing. I mean, all that. It does build a great base of fitness.
For sure. And I think it's just one tool, like you said. It's just a different modality.
It's one tool out of all the tools in the toolbox. Like, you've got to. I think you should be able to use all of them.
And at the end of the day, it's just all about us being friends and finding ways, because I can't touch someone in Salt Lake City. So it's like, I would rather have someone that I can send them to. For those of you guys who don't know, not only are we hosting the women's training program from Jim Jones this weekend, but we've put together a women's fitness campaign for Onnit that'll have launched by the time you guys see this podcast. But it's really geared towards, let's look at fitness and women's fitness especially, not in terms of Insta booty. Not that I don't appreciate it when I scroll through my feed, but looking at fitness, that let's see who's really making waves in fitness, and who's really making a difference, and how can we all be a better community together, and that's the real goal.
Well, it's interesting how women try to. There's women's movement it's all about accepting and supporting women. Yeah. Right. Like, it's like, oh, let's and I don't remember if you remember this. There was a girl that posted a before and after photo, and her before photo was in her competition bikini, and her after photo she was kind of soft and curvy. Do you remember that? And it created this huge uproar about how do you accept your body after competing, and now that you don't look as good as you used to look. And she's like, it's my journey to self-love. And so there's this whole self-love and embrace your curves and all this stuff. And it's interesting how we're doing this, like, empower women, and then all you're seeing are these posing in Insta booty shots. And it's like one girl trying to prove she's hotter than the next girl. And it's like you're actually not supporting women to be strong or supporting women to be self-accepting. You're trying to show your best side and your best angle and your best self to show everyone that you're perfect.
Right.
Like go back right back to where we were. It's like you're literally saying, let's get away from this magazine cover thing and like represent strong women, and then you're posing and then tailoring your photos to look like you're on the cover of a magazine.
Right. And it's like you in a thong and then some like caption about loving yourself.
How is
and
that
it's like
loving yourself?
Totally.
Like it's it's not helpful for anybody, and you're just trying. Do you not think you make other women feel bad?
Yeah.
Like, so even when I was pregnant, I think this rang really, really true for me, as I started comparing myself to other women on Instagram. Like, oh, she only gained so much. I've gained 20 pounds. Oh my God. Like, is that bad for me? Is it bad for my baby? Am I doing the right thing? And I'm like, why do I give a shit what everyone else is doing? Like, as long as I'm healthy for me and my baby, that's all that matters. You end up comparing yourself, and I think people do it in fitness as well. And so this thing that I'm doing for the women's seminar, and we call it the women's specific seminar because we are speaking about women specifically.
Yeah.
And I talk about women specific issues, and there's been a really big tug of war a little bit with the word issues, because someone said that when I say women specific issues, it makes it sound like women are the issue.
Yeah.
Is it? So I just don't want anyone to think that women are an issue. Women are not an issue.
No, not at all.
But the reality is that we face more problems and more roadblocks than men do with our fitness. And it's not to make excuses for women. It's not to change or make us seem lesser. It's actually to empower us to say, hey, we're different. There's a few things we need to work around and be aware of, but we're actually really powerful. And I had a conversation with a girlfriend in the gym the other day, my girlfriend Heather, who you'll meet. She goes, isn't it funny how like women have a period and like we go through all this stuff physically and like hormonally, and we're still in here, and we're moms, we're still in here kicking ass and like working out, and we have all this crap we have to deal with. Isn't that cool? And I was like, it is cool.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about how that's cool, that we have all this crap going on with our bodies all the time. We have all these fluctuating hormones, and having a period, not having a period, eat too much, and you gain weight and you feel terrible. Then you don't eat enough and you lose your period, which is you get shamed for that too. It's just a lot of judgment, and we need to talk about it and talk about the physicality behind it and why things are happening to our bodies the way they are, and knowing science so you understand your body better, because some women don't, and men don't understand women's bodies well enough.
They pretend. Or we pretend.
We all pretend. I mean, some women that I teach about the menstrual cycle don't know there are two phases, that like they don't understand their own menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
And so even just getting that out there, like, hey, like this is how your body works, and this is what you're facing, and this is why you feel this way, it gives you that, like an aha moment.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for. Like, my thing would be if I could help one woman not go through what I went through in my fitness journey, because I got to the point with myself that I lost my period for 7 years because I was eating paleo and I thought I was healthy, and my body fat I was like 13 to 15% body fat. Depending on how I was getting tested, because nothing's really that accurate. I never did the bod pod stuff, but I wasn't having a period, so there you go.
Low enough body fat that you weren't producing enough.
Yep.
Estrogen.
And then as soon as I actually got a DEXA scan that put me at 17% body fat, I got my period that day, which was kind of weird. I was like, oh, that was coincidental. So that means that was the highest my body fat's been in 7 years, with 17, and that's still really low. Anyway, so having to go through that, of getting your period back and not having one for so long, and how I was unable to cognitively be as sharp as I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I would wake up in the middle of the night sweating with heart palpitations, and why that was happening. I had vertigo. Why that was happening. No one asked me about my diet. I mean, no one, because of course I can talk the talk, right? I did nutrition. I know what I should be eating. My problem was I was coaching all day long people who wanted to lose weight, and I wanted to lead from the front, lead by example.
Totally.
So I followed my own rules, right? Like no white at night, no carbohydrates at night, and eat all the vegetables, and be on like a low carb.
On a limited diet like paleo already.
On the paleo diet, eating clean everything, which and I didn't follow the high fat rule as much as I wanted to, because I had another stomach issue I had was I had bad gallbladder. So I couldn't eat that much fat, because otherwise my stomach hurt. Yeah. So it was like I had all this crap that I was fighting, and trying to fix my stomach, and if I ate one bad thing, I had an upset stomach, so then I didn't eat for a day. Anyway, I went through all this crap and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with my body. Like, everything upsets my stomach, everything, my system was just so sensitive. And they actually talk about, now there's new science we'll talk about this weekend, about how low energy intake, like low energy balance, like not eating enough, not fueling enough, causes major stomach upset. So like GI upset is one of those side effects. And so,
which probably most women.
How many, I'm sorry to say it like this, but how many skinny women do you know that have a really upset stomach all the time?
Right.
It's like, they go hand in hand. I was like, why did no one ever like put that 2 and 2 together? Like, I wish I would have known that 3 years ago. Like, and so there's a lot of information that's sprinkled out there, and a lot of these studies are done on men and not women, because women are really hard to study.
You got multiple phases in a month.
Well, we're way too weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, every woman starts a period at a different time. Every woman's at a different stage of their cycle. Some women are on birth control. Which birth control are you on? Because there's a million different types of birth control.
And that can fuck with all of it.
That can mess with everything, and it can give you a synthetic period. And then if scientists need to study women, they have to take your blood. Like, it has to be blood drawn, because they have to know where you're at. And by the way, hormones go in gushes, they don't, it's not like a slight fluctuation. No. It's like all of it and then nothing and then all of it. So we have more of a spike and a dip. So we have blood work has to be taken, which makes the scientific study more expensive, more time consuming. So you think about that right there. It's like, who wants to study women? Well, we have to find the women that all started their period at this time, age range between this and this, like to be in all those categories, to have enough women to fit all the categories who are the same, started their period around the same time, have the same hormone profile. It's impossible to do. Why wouldn't you just do men?
Totally.
Let's just forget that. Focus on men.
Physiology says it'll work on this.
It'll work. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. It works for a human, right?
Yes.
And it's like, no, it doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have known that. And so there's bits and pieces sprinkled here and there. You'll hear certain stuff about cortisol and adrenals and stress and for women, and then it's menstrual cycle for women and birth control for, and no one's really put it all together. And so we've done a ton of research and work to find studies that are done on women, and between fiber type distribution and strength and power differences and nutritional differences and eating disorders, because I need to talk about that too.
Totally.
So there's a lot of stuff that I want to help women with, to understand, and men as well. So this women specific program for us, I don't want anyone to think it's for women. It's actually for men and women who want to be educated on the subject, because a lot of men work with women.
I mean, I would say that most women would rather train with a man.
I think that's true.
In a gym setting. Like, when I was a trainer, not that I couldn't train others, right? But my primary clientele was executive females, right? 35 to 45-year-old females who were in like C-level or upper executive level positions, very type A, and go get them, right? And I'm a very loud, domineering, I don't care if I'm the loudest person in the room kind of thing. And that's who was most of my clientele, right? And it's like, but I'm not a female. I think I relate well to women, but I don't know what you're going through on a regular basis. If you are having a hard time having a kid, or you're on your period, or are you actually eating what I'm telling you to, or asking you to, because I can't tell you to eat anything, but any of that, and then it's like, and then you flip on the other end, like, yeah, you might be a nurse, and yeah, you're hiding something, like you're using being a nurse or a nutritionist or a doctor, like, well, you can't tell me what to do, I'm a doctor, and it's like, yeah, but you clearly have something mentally going on in your life that's inhibiting you, and now that's inhibiting our progress. And so I think,
and they blame you, right? You're like, no, you can't blame me if you're not listening to what I'm telling you to do.
Yes.
And that's one big thing that I love about our gym, is that when people don't listen or aren't completely honest, we get the option to not work with them. So there are people that I decide not to work with because I'm like, this isn't falling into place here, and if you're not going to commit to the time and what I need you to do, I don't want to work with you, because I don't want you walking around saying you train with me,
right,
when you're not capable of doing anything. And like, don't tarnish my, not to sound that I have a name you can't tarnish, that's not what I'm saying, but like, I put more pride into what I do than that, and also I don't want to care more than you. I can't care more than you.
Right.
And I care a lot. With my clients and people that I care about to get fit, like, I care. I put everything in. You can access me anytime. Like, my phone's always on. Like, I'm that person. When I'm in with you, I am diehard. I'll go through it with you.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to meet me, I can't work with you, because it's actually emotionally draining for me to like see you fail and then blame me for it when you're not meeting me halfway.
Well, and that's the thing, like for, a lot of the audience is young personal trainers or people just getting into the industry. They don't realize, like, sure, yeah, my friends ask me about exercise all the time, and like, I think I just want to be a trainer. And you forget the emotional investment that you put in, day out with your clients. Like, you're on the roller coaster with them.
Yes, you are.
So like, in my ebook, I'd even talk about, like, look, if you're someone that you can't handle like 9 hours of intimate interaction all day, then that's fine. But that means your prices need to reflect that. Like, that means you need to set yourself up to where you can only do 4 hours of coaching a day, but you're going to give those 4 hours everything that you got, right? And it's like, I think that's super important, because if you're going to go down that journey, like, you have to be prepared to like live each day with them. They're going to have good days and bad days, but at the end of the day, whether you're an athlete trainer or training moms or Barry's boot camp, or you're a strength coach at a college, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you are able to make sure you are the best part of that person's day, right? Or you're giving them an experience.
There's that, but you have to also remember that you are when you're a coach, and I use the word coach kind of gently, because a coach is someone who knows people inside and out. Like, if you have a real coach, like my riding trainer was a coach. My husband talks about his fight trainers were his coach. Your coach knows who you're dating. Your coach knows when you have your period. Your coach knows about your parents.
Yep.
Like the marital status of your parents. And your coach knows when you have vacations, when you have tests at school. That's a coach, right? Someone who really understands. And we differentiate coaches and trainers. A trainer is someone with a stopwatch who tells you when to start and stop and how many reps to do. A coach is someone who knows you. And just tying it back to the women's stuff, women, which might be something you do and you don't even know you do, but women, there was a big research study that was done. They asked a bunch of women what the best part of their season was. It was a bunch of collegiate team. And they said that the thing that they liked the most about their coaches, the best coach relationship they had, was when a coach knew things about them, when they felt a personal relationship.
Yeah.
So whether that coach said, like, hey, like, how was your exam yesterday? Like, oh, you remembered my exam? Just because I feel a little bit special, like you make me feel a little bit special, I want to work twice as hard for you. Because I want to impress you. I know you want the best from me. That's the best relationship that females can have. There's a whole psychological part of that. It's so important. But that's what coaches need to understand, is that people, men and women, because it's not just women, like a personal connection. Everyone does.
But inherently more men are less
sensitive to it. Yeah, less sensitive to it. Women are really sensitive to that. But you're this person's mentor.
Yes.
So when they come to you, don't be mistaken if you don't think they pay attention to what you eat, what shoes you wear, what shirt you wear. Do you go tanning or not? Do you they pay attention to all that stuff. I mean, it's almost not a parent. They don't look like a parent. It's like, how some kid looks at their parents, like, my mom smokes, I can smoke.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing. Like, if your trainer's smoking, like, your client's gonna be like, I guess smoking's not that bad if my trainer's really fit.
Right.
Or like, if you're eating donuts, it's like, oh, well, I guess my trainer's eating donuts. I guess I could have a donut.
Right.
I mean, that happens, right? Like, you're a mentor to these people, and so you need to be leading from the front. Like, I don't care who you are. If I'm fitter than you, I ain't training with you.
Totally.
Like, end of story. If I can do more pull-ups than you can, I'm not going to come to your gym and train with you.
And females have it harder too. Like, a guy can get away with being a little bit heavier, and it's like, it's like, oh, I'm a power lifter, or I'm bulking. Right? Yeah. But
why can't women be powerlifters and bulky?
Totally. And it's like not that you couldn't, but it's like, it's going to hurt your business.
It is.
Right?
Because people judge, right? Like,
absolutely.
people judge. And so I think that it's interesting. It's difficult and it's interesting as a trainer and someone who's in the, as a trainer, as how you have to lead from the front. You got to look the part. Now, as a woman, ready for this?
Yeah.
Don't be too bulky, because that turns women off.
Yes.
Don't be too skinny, because then you're unrelatable.
Yep.
It's like, you got to be in this middle spot that's like relatable, because most women out there who want to get fit, let's be honest, don't look like most of the fitness instructors.
Totally.
But secondly, do you want to? Like, do you want to eat steamed broccoli and chicken every meal? No, everyone wants to have this healthy balance, right?
Yes.
And that is in itself is an art of like having a healthy balance between working out and eating. But as a trainer, you've got to know how to coach that, like coach moderation and coach, dedication and mind over matter and lead from the front and you have to be all these things, right? It is not easy. It's not a job, in my opinion, that someone should just pick up right out of nowhere. Like, it's not easy. People think like, oh, I'm going to be a personal trainer. That's easy. That's why there's such a high turnover rate, I think, is because people realize when they get into it, it's not easy. And people talk about it, making me think when someone says, oh, I give my buddy workout advice all the time. And all I could think to myself was, that's fun in games until your buddy comes to you and blew a disc in his back. Then what?
Totally.
Because I've been subject to someone being injured under my watch, and blamed me for it.
Right.
She was doing 10 pounds shoulder pressing like this, and she wasn't focusing. And she was like, "Hey, I want to go up and weight," because I was encouraging her to get stronger. I'm like, "You can use more than 10 pounds. Like, it's okay."
Right.
"Can I use 15?" So I'm like, "Yes, I would love it if you did, please."
Yes.
She's like, "Okay." She's shoulder pressing, and she's talking to her girlfriend, talking like this, and then buckles over, and I blew my neck out, blah, 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 blah. And she blamed me. And I was like, first of all, you asked to go up and wait. I go, secondly, you were not focusing at all. And I'm like, that was not my, and thirdly, like, this injury has been a long time coming. Even the doctors were like, this is not because you did a few shoulder presses and looked to the right. It's the way you walk, the way you, it's a car accident you were in 5 years ago. Like, is this a compounding? There was no impact. I mean, nothing happened. And so, but let me tell you how much that scared me.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh my God, like, am I responsible because she blew a disc? Like, oh, it's my fault. I should have been paying closer. And it's really not necessarily your fault. I mean, don't mind you can hurt someone. Absolutely. But there's things that happen in the gym that, like, that's not a joke. Like, this job that we have as fitness instructors to keep people safe, to get them more fit, to change their life, is nothing to be taken lightly, and nothing to jump into because it seems convenient.
I think, I think you touched on so many amazing topics right there. I think it's, and there's a conundrum right now in the market of, like, should trainers be licensed?
Right.
Like a massage therapist.
Right.
And, at the end, like, I don't come from a exercise science background. Like, I come from a business major background, and I fell into fitness. Doesn't mean I don't think I have value to add, but I think that, so, like, I wouldn't be in this situation, right? Possibly. But I do think there needs to be a higher level standard to make sure that to vet people in. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely. I mean, I think that learning. My problem is with the certifications is learning things out of a book. So I've gone through all those books when I was in school. I mean, I had to take the classes, and so there I am looking in a book, and it's diagnosing someone's squat. And it's a picture of it. It's a black and white picture, because you know how textbooks are in school. Sure. And there's a black and white picture of a girl squatting from the front and a girl squatting from the side. They're talking about pelvic tilt and all this stuff, and it's just like and then you see it in real life, and it's like a totally different thing. Like, watching someone move in and out of a squat is different than a shot of someone in the bottom of a squat.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a different, like, at what point is this happening? At what point do they have a butt wig? At what point do they lose their back?
Right.
What does that mean? How do you fix this now? Like,
yes.
What are the structural changes that you need to do and steps you need to take to break down this movement to get them stronger through their weak spot? And so I think that that's not being taught as well as it should. And I don't think you can teach it without one-on-one eyes and hands and ears and everything in it learning from someone. And I think that going to seminars and learning from other people is huge. You can't learn this stuff from a book. I don't think you can. It's my opinion. Book stuff doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I mean, it's good for all of us to know the technicality of, anatomy and biology and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't see it and touch it and feel it and be there and learn from a mentor, I think it's really hard.
I mean, how many engineers are out there that are great at calculus and physics, but couldn't build you a birdhouse?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so there's a lot of great scientists out there that, can talk a lot about theory and practicality, but sometimes, like, your lever lengths are different than mine. Like, your pass is different than mine. Our training age is different, or your capability. So it's like, inherently, a squat is a squat, but, like, it's going to look entirely different.
Do you know how many people have tried to mess with my squat? I have like 17 different people, because they learned from a textbook that your chest should be upright and your back needs to be straight and your knees and your hips. And they trying to tell me to sit up straighter. And I'm like, but I will fall backwards. Yeah. Like, I'm all femur.
Right.
Like, I'm going to fall back. And they're like, no, you can just sit up. It's because you're not strong enough. And I'm like, actually, it has nothing to do with that.
Right.
I'm literally going to fall backwards until I finally met the right people who were like, you do this, tweak that. Yeah. And now I'm fine. Like, so it's amazing how you can't learn something out of it. You're right. You have to see it. Everyone's got different levers. Everyone's got different points of leverage. I mean, we're all so unique.
And you think about, like, where you were when you first got into this industry and where you are today. And I'm like, God, sometimes I wish I can go smack my 21-year-old self in the face and be like, bro, you don't know anything, actually. But you need to go through that too. I think you really need to, like,
you gotta earn your stripes.
And I think that's get beat up in the market. You got to bang your head against a wall a little bit, only to bring us to the point now where it's like, okay, I'm here teaching you this stuff because I think it's really valuable and things I've learned, right? Whereas now we're in the internet marketing day and age. We're on a damn podcast, right? But it's like, oh, I just learned to squat for the first time, and now these kids are, like, writing ebooks and they're writing, programs, and it's like, you need to go out and like train 10,000 people here first before you like start saying, oh, well, here in my experience, it's like there's a large difference between just starting out and like thinking what you know and spending time doing it.
Well, when I first started training, my first training job was at the Art of Strength gym,
right.
the first gym that I went to, and I did what I called earn my stripes. I worked for free for 6 months, and I showed up at that gym at 4 o'clock. So our first class was 5 a.m., so I got there at 4:50.
Yeah.
And I was there from the 5 o'clock class, 6 o'clock class, 7, 8, 9 till I was there till 10.
Mm-hmm.
I worked out from 10 to 11. Then I would have a break. I'd come back for the 3 o'clock class, the 4 o'clock class, the 5, 6, and 7. We close at 8. I did that every day except for Saturdays and Sundays.
Right.
I went in for 3 hours on Saturdays. We only had 3 hours of class on Saturday and days off on Sunday. I did it every day for 6 months for free. And my job, most of the time, was my trainer was, he did more class stuff.
Yeah.
And he taught the Turkish get-up. And it takes a long time to teach him on the Turkish get-up.
For sure.
So he'd give me the people, he'd be like, oh, you go over there with Lisa, she'll teach you the Turkish get-up. And I taught so many Turkish get-ups that I would have nightmares about teaching people how to do the Turkish get-up. And I'm like, oh my God, if I never have to teach a Turkish get-up again. But I taught, I don't know, over 100 of them.
Yeah.
I taught over 100 people how to do Turkish get-up the right way. And so I'm glad I did. I mean, I'm very good at it. And I'm also very efficient at Turkish get-ups now because of it.
Right.
But it's, I did that. I did the grunt work. I did and then I couldn't figure it out with some people. Like, how come this person can't get this movement? And I had to learn. I had to use my coach and say like, hey, like I can't get them to lift their hips up, or you got to move your hand over here. You got to tilt your head here. You got to lift. And so I had to figure out how to maneuver someone's body to get them to be able to move.
Yeah.
So figuring all that out, you've got to put that work in, right? Like you can't train, with your buddy 5 times a week and then decide to become a personal trainer. That's not enough education, right? You've got to learn how to get someone to use their body the right way and go through the steps and understand how that whole thing works. And you're going to have a few bumps and bruises along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some really embarrassing things that I did as a coach at the beginning. I had a girl that was really overweight, and I had her doing a Turkish get-up, and she couldn't sit up because her body wouldn't allow her to, and I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God. And I didn't know how to get out of it. I was like, oh, we're going to do something, instead of being like, oh, you're too heavy to do this, so we have to do something else. Like, how mortifying was that for this chick, right? Like, I felt awful. I can't remember we got out of it somehow, but like, learned that lesson fast. You know what I mean? But like, we all have to do that. You've got to figure it out.
And that's the shit the textbook doesn't tell you.
Textbook doesn't tell you how to do that. Or
we're
how to get out of that.
We're supposed to do this, and we're supposed to squat like this, and then it's
what
like...
do you do when someone can't lift have you ever had a biker and you come into the gym and they're like this?
Totally.
And you're like, oh, you can't put your hands over your head.
Yeah.
Like, they're just, you've got a lot of structural to work. Do you know how to do the structural work?
Yeah.
Do you know how to put rubber bands on a bamboo pole and, with kettlebells attached to it and have them walk around the gym to figure out how to get their arms up over their head? I mean, there's so many techniques and tools, and we need to teach each other those tools. Yeah. Like, you guys do a lot of stuff here that I don't personally do with the clubs and the mace, right?
Yep.
And I'm not familiar with it. I would love to become more familiar with it because I think it's got its time and place, and I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
But that's what we need to do for each other. Like, instead of saying, and I come from a world of, it's the Art of Strength way, it's the kettlebell way, it's the only way, to, no, there's a lot of different ways. Let's be friends. Let's help each other learn. Like, I want to learn from you, and I want to teach you, and I want us to work together to build this community of people who like want the best for everybody. Like, and I've always had the thought process too, where I have a client that doesn't work well with me, but works well with works well with them. Go train with them.
Yeah.
I know it costs me nothing for you to better yourself with somebody else. If they can get more out of you, better to them.
Right.
Like, awesome, have at it. I want the best for this person. If I can't get it from you, let's find someone who can get it out of you.
Well, and I think a lot of young trainers too, they get caught up like, oh, they can't do this, and it's like, it's not the person's fault.
It's your fault.
It's your fault as a coach.
100%.
If they can't do it, it is not their fault. It is your fault. And so people treat it like going to a different country. Like, I don't speak Spanish, but like if I go and I'm like, I want some water, and I'm like, do you have any water? And they're like, I'm like, do you have any water? And I'm like, oh yeah, they don't speak English. So me getting louder doesn't mean anything. So I need to find a way that helps everybody understand that together. So, and it's so great because I'm learning so much in like the last, 20 minutes about Jim Jones. And I was excited to have you down anyway, but now I'm really excited knowing the why behind your guys' system a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done a Jim Jones. Like, a couple of my coworkers are going to their level 3 next week.
Yeah.
But I think I'm so intrigued to learn.
And that's what I think our draw is. And if you were to ask me what our difference is, like, what is Jim Jones and why is it different than other people? And it is that mind over matter thing. Is we do a lot of workouts that test your ability to handle pressure and stress and keep your cool. work to your max capacity.
Right.
Again, keep your cool. Like you'll see no one like falling off a rower and flailing on the ground. Like that is like a no-no in our gym. Like you don't do that. Because professional athletes don't do that. Right. Like no one gets done
Act
with
like won before.
Yeah, no one gets through the running the fastest 100-meter sprint in the world and then falls and flails on the ground. It doesn't happen when rowers row and they pass it. They're standing up, they're clapping, they're high-fiving, they're blowing kisses to their family. They're not like writhing around on the ground like, oh, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like professional athletes don't do that. Stop acting like that.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be here.
That's such a great point.
It's a privilege to be here. We are lucky that we're able to move our bodies. We are lucky that we get to train. I mean, that's a privilege, right? Like no one's shooting at us. No one, like, we're here out of our own free will. We want to get better and get stronger. Like, we're lucky that we get this opportunity to do that.
Yeah. So you have to fly from Salt Lake City to Austin to come teach a seminar. Like, that's a lucky thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of beasts, though, at Jim Jones. I mean, you guys have some people in there that come in. I'm like I'm not a shitty athlete. But, like, sometimes I look on the thread and I'm like, oh, my God, like, those guys would dominate me. How do you feel, like, being a female in that environment, having a kid? Like, how do you balance that? Like,
it's interesting that when I came there, I'm a little bit, it's funny because all of us have our own little thing. So sometimes you'll see in our gym, like, you'll get, like, the big guys that lift all the weight.
Yeah.
Like, Rob's one of them, Nate Orchard's another. We have some guys in there that are strong as hell. And then we have some people that are in there that are like super world-class cyclists. Mm-hmm. And they have a totally different physical frame.
Right, yeah. They're like Rob's leg.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're like, one of our guys, his name's Art, he's super tall. I think he's 6'5" or 6'4". He's tall, thin. He's one of the best at cyclocross in the country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we've got climbers. We've got a lot of climbers in there.
Obviously Utah.
Yeah. And a lot of runners and we have a lot of jiu-jitsu and we got that a lot in our gym as well. Both Lisa and Rob are big into that. And so we have a lot of fighters and stuff in there too. But being a female in the gym, so I was the fourth. There was 3 certified women when I got there. I was the fourth. And now I think we're looking at like around 15 women.
That's awesome.
And more in the pipeline. Like we've got a lot of girls coming through, which is really exciting. Most of the women we've ever had in seminars, we're having our numbers are through the roof. Again, sometimes some of our seminars, women are making up 50%.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
That's
I'm
great.
really excited. So, hopefully I'm making a difference there, which I hope to be. But one thing that I talk to Rob a lot about is that women. So a lot of the times when women are in a gym, we get pushed into a corner. So it's kind of like, having these bars here and this set up here, and it's like, oh, the girls go back there.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't make us feel very good.
Totally.
Like, and the other thing that sucks is like, in certain seminars, and I don't know if this is how your guys' seminars run, but sometimes you write people's numbers up on a board or like, progress or whatever, and girls' numbers look so little compared to the guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, not compared to our body. Like, we're actually doing impressive shit
Yeah.
for ourselves,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you look at all the numbers, out there, we're actually kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah.
And we saw it really big time. I think the biggest impact we've seen our women make was their last level 3 seminar. And we had, I think, 3 of our girls rowing a sub 8-minute 2K. They were rowing like a 750. I'm sorry, no, they were rowing they were they were fast. And then on the skier too.
Yeah.
Like on both the rower and the skier. These girls are just, and then having like a double and a half body weight deadlifts. And like one of the girls was pulling, we had girls that go out there and pulling 360-pound deadlift. Like, just strong,
There's a lot of men
fast.
that can do that.
I know. They're just strong and they're fast. So I think that our women are getting stronger. And I have to say that being postpartum is hard for me.
Okay.
Because you lose everything when you get pregnant. Everything goes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can stay fit during your pregnancy, but after you have the baby in postpartum, I felt absolutely like I started over. Like my first time back in the gym, like rowing a 2. I always row a 2K to warm up and cool down.
Yeah.
Not for time, just
right.
Just I row a 10-minute, 9:30, just warm up, kind of get the blood moving.
Yeah.
And it almost killed me. I mean, I didn't know, I couldn't breathe. Like it was, I wanted to quit 7 minutes in. I'm like, this is my warm up.
Right.
Like what? Like I've been staying fit. Like I walked 6 miles like the day before Jax was born.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I wasn't active. I was deadlifting and I was squat. I was doing all the things. And so it was just really shocking to see how much I had lost there. I was more capable when I was pregnant than when I came back postpartum. Right. But you have to think about, you're not sleeping.
Right.
I haven't slept. I mean, since he was, you take 4 to 6 weeks off. I had a C-section, so I took 6 weeks off postpartum, and it's just, you don't sleep that 6 weeks. Every ounce of you is going towards that baby.
Yeah.
You're producing breast milk. Like you're doing all these, your body's recovering from major surgery and a major trauma. People who have vaginal births, that's trauma. I mean, if you think about vaginal birth is like air dieting a 1 minute all out effort over and over and over again, every like 30 seconds or every minute. For like, some women are in labor for 20 hours.
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine.
Could you imagine that?
Absolutely
like just over and over, just roaming, like all out sprints, just over.
I barely like to be awake for 20 hours.
Jeez, oh Pete, I mean, come on. You think about that. So recovering from that. So not only that, but you birth the baby, you go through 20 hours of labor, 20 hours of all out 100 meter sprints.
Right.
You're done. And then guess what happens? You get no sleep.
Right.
You're nursing every 2 hours. You're, trying to recover. You're leaving the hospital, packing up, taking this baby home. You're like totally responsible for a child all of a sudden. Like there's no recovery happening from that huge expenditure of energy. And so we women do these amazing things. And so to come back in the gym, and this is something that I think people need to be a little more forgiving on, and women to themselves more so than anything.
That's so important.
Yeah, and it's like, girl, like you're going through so much. And if I could tell myself at the time to calm down, now, knowing now, like it comes back, calm down. And people told me that, oh, come back, you're fine, just calm down. And I was like, no. Must get fitness back, must do all the things, what do I want to do first? Squatting or deadlifting? Or I was like stoked about just getting back in the gym, and it's like I needed to calm down a bit. But I was so hard on myself, and it was really hard to see how out of shape I was, especially since I had a standard for myself. Right. I mean, I pulled a PR like a week before I found out I was pregnant. Right. I mean, I was killing all my IWTs, all my numbers on all the rowing, all the skiing, all my numbers were all through the roof. And so to watch it just all go and have to build up from the bottom, I mean, it is really discouraging. And you don't look the way you want to look, right? Like you still got like baby body, you still look like you're pregnant. Right. People don't talk enough about that. Right. Like after you have the baby, like you still look pregnant for a few months. Yeah. You're holding on to body fat because to produce breast milk, you have to have body fat. Your breast milk comes from body fat. Right. So you have to have it, but you look like you have it. I mean, you've got body fat on you. Right. And so you're dealing with that. And, you can't see your muscle. I mean, my vascularity still isn't the same. Vascularity is the hardest thing that I'm trying to get back. And then I'm like, oh, my arms and my things don't look like they used to look. Right. And it just takes time. I mean, some people say it takes a year. And that's a long time. I mean, a year's a long time to not feel like yourself. Right. And I was talking to one of your girls that worked here about how you don't have your body's not your body for 9 months that you're pregnant. Your body's also not your body, especially if you're a breastfeeding mom, for the next however long you breastfeed your baby. Right. I mean, you're still aware of what you're putting in your mouth and what you're doing with yourself. And, training can affect your supply, your milk supply. Yeah. If you overtrain, your milk supply is going to be affected. So there's a lot there that people don't talk about pre and postpartum that is mentally really hard. Physically, it's hard because you're starting over and it's awful. But here's the cool part. You do PR all the time. Yeah. You're like, PR. I mean, it's not what I used to do, but it's a PR for the day. Right. Yeah. And the next day, like, this is a PR, and that's a PR, and it's happening. And I remember when I first hit my IWT, because Rob asked me to do my IWT.
Which are what, for people who don't know?
So IWT is interval weight training. Okay. And I had to do 10 reps of a movement, and then 1 minute all out on a rower, 2 minutes rest, and then I did 10 reps of a movement, a minute all out. Sometimes people do 1 minute, sometimes people do 2 minutes. So it kind of depends on the scheme. And then it's a 5 minute rest, and you do the same thing, like a 10 reps of a movement, and then I did an all minute out on the ski erg. Okay. And so I was doing that a lot, and every week what I did was I paid attention to my numbers. Yeah. It was the same workout every week, and I would improve. And so Rob told me, he's like, why don't you just go to the gym and just do an IWT once a week? Like, and just start getting your fitness back. And I was like, do you understand what that's going to do to me mentally? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, Rob, if I sit there and I'm staring at a screen that's just blank information, it's like slaps you in the face, like, this is what you're doing. Yeah. This is you. And you can't cheat that number. You can't fake that number. Like with a push-up, you can do like half a rep and count it. Like, no, this is like...
Fuck that you didn't sleep last night, or you've been breastfeeding.
Doesn't give a shit. It's like, here's your number. Yeah. Here's where you are on the list of things. Like, and it's just very upfront. And I was like, Rob, I can't look at that right now. Yeah. I'm like, if my number is way below what I was pre-pregnancy, I'm going to see exactly how unfit I am. And I'd rather live in my little bubble right now of like, it may not be that bad. Right. Like, not that bad yet. Right. Like, no, I don't want to go in there and see how bad it is. I'm like, I'm going to just sit there and feel like a fucking failure is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm going to stare at those numbers and be like, God, I am so out of shape. And that felt so much harder than it should have. And the numbers are nowhere near the way they should be. So it took me a few months to have the kahunas to get in there and do it. And I did it. I finally went in and did my IBWT, the same one I was doing before I got pregnant. And all my numbers were there. I PR'd, actually. Nice. It was better than they were pre-pregnancy. And I thought to myself, all right, like it's happening. Like I'm getting there. And it was such a great feeling. But it took me mentally a long time to even attempt to do that. Because I was like, I don't want to feel like a friggin', I've already lost all my fitness and I already feel that way. Right. Like I don't need to do anything that exasperates that feeling. Yeah. Like give me some wins. Like, sure, challenge me a little bit in my workout. You gotta give me some wins. Otherwise, I'm just gonna feel defeated every time I come in here. And I guess what's gonna happen? I'm gonna lose my lust for it. I'm not gonna want to be in here. Happens a lot.
Well, and that's coming from a woman who's very fit, very
obsessed
knowledgeable,
with working out.
Right? In an environment that's like very inclusive, but also like go fucking get them.
Yeah.
And then it's like for you to feel that way, it's like, oh shit. And hopefully the women watching and listening, it's like, oh, and I hopefully it leaves that it's permission. That it's okay to feel that way. Because you're going to feel that way.
You're going to feel that way. And you're going to feel like you want to get there sooner. You're going to feel like you've lost everything. You're going to feel like it's never coming back. There's this fear that, oh my God, if I don't work out for a day, I'm going to lose all my strength and all my everything, right?
Yeah.
Like some people have a hard time taking a day off. I'm one of those. I'm that type A. I have a hard time taking a day off.
Yeah, because you're hiking every day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think every time I look at your Instagram, it's like you hiking somewhere.
Yeah, with my dude. With my little dude.
Which a loaded carry.
Oh, let me tell you how hard that's been. I'm like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I am that person that wants to go. And so for me to not feel like I want to work out, like it's here more than it's physical. And it's like, you've got to, and I tell people when they coach women getting back into the gym, that, you know, women, you need to understand that going to the gym, getting out of the house with a baby, when you have a newborn baby, and going to the gym, that's a win.
Yeah.
Like you left the house.
Yeah. Whether you sat on the bike or went to the elliptical.
You left the house, girl.
Yeah.
Like, you doing it. Like, you're momming it. Like, that's really hard to do, is just to get out of the house. That's huge. And so just to move and go on a walk, put the baby in a stroller and go on a walk, that's huge. Little teeny tiny steps will help you. Like in the long run, and things start to come back and fall into place, and then you end up feeling normal. Everyone says at 6-month mark, you start to feel normal, and that did happen for me. It was like, it was a noticeable shift too.
Really?
Where all of a sudden I went from like not doing stuff because the baby, like, I was like, oh, I don't want to interrupt him, and oh, I don't want to put him in his car seat and go there, and oh, shuffling the car seat here and there. I just rather stay home. It's so much easier, and it is. And then all of a sudden you get to the 6-month mark, and you're like out grocery shopping, and you're functioning, and you're training, and you're going to the gym, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm functioning. Like, I'm a mom. I'm momming it. Because again, we look at other parents and they're doing it. Why can't we? So give yourself that time. Give yourself permission to, you know, fitness isn't number one right now. Postpartum is not number one. Let it be number 2. It will come back.
Yeah.
But just chill. Enjoy that baby. That's what it's about.
I mean, it had to have even been hard to like necessarily want to start the conversation of, do I want to have a kid? Like, I think a lot of females in fitness especially, it's like, they work so hard on their body, and to even want to venture down that road is like got to be a tough conversation to want to even endure. Like mom, yes, I want to be a mom, but I don't want to lose this.
You will lose it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you're going to get the diastasis recti, like your abs are going to separate. They may never look the same again. Some mamas get that poochy. I have it. Like, I'm a little poochy belly, like, because I'm just not tight, and it's just not tight. I'll never look the way it used to look. My hips are wider.
Object right there.
Yeah, like it was more than that. I mean, I lost 20 pounds giving birth. Wow. So between fluid, blood. I mean, everything that comes out of you, the placenta, the whole situation. There's a lot more in there than you think there is, and that's why people are like, I'm so big. Yeah, there's a little 8-pound baby, but there's other stuff on top of it. So it is. You got to give your body just made a friggin' human. And when you sit there and you look at your baby and you look at their eyelashes and their lips and their hair and their eyebrows and their fingers, and you're like, I made this body, made that. Give your body a freaking break.
Yeah.
Like, you just made a living organism. Like, this thing it eats and it sleeps and it burps and it pees. It's like a living thing.
Yeah.
Like, you made it. So that was hard freaking work. Let your body be, heal from that and all that change. And, they say give yourself a year. Don't judge your body, and don't be hard on yourself. Don't look in the mirror and say how awful you look for a year. Like, or I need to lose weight, or I need to. No, you do what you're able to do. Go to the gym as much as you're able to and feel comfortable doing. Do as much as you're able and feel comfortable doing. And then in a year, reevaluate where you're at. That's awesome. And I think that's the best advice, because it's funny, every month I feel more capable as a person. Like, at 3 months, I didn't feel capable as a mom or a person. 6 months, I started to feel capable. It's like, I'm at 9 months now, and it's like, okay, I'm really functioning. I can't imagine what I'm going to be like at 12 months, like when he's a year. Like, I feel like I'm going to be in such a different place than I am in now, because every month you watch how much they grow, we're also growing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you watch a kid, you're like, oh my God, he didn't have teeth, now he has teeth and he's walking. like all that growth, that gives you a lot of time to also change and adapt and get yourself back together. So don't stress about getting that pre-pregnancy weight and that pre-pregnancy body thing. Like we got to stop that with women, because people say stuff to me about it. Oh, like I thought you'd be back to pre-pregnancy shape. I'm like, excuse me?
I think that nutrition, and not that I have a uterus or gonna have a baby by any means, but nutrition and like women who are pregnant is like the time where everybody feels they can give you solicited advice.
Oh, my favorite is when someone gave me advice about nutrition who's never had a child. She's like, oh, do you know you're only supposed to be eating 300 calories more a day when you're pregnant? And I was like, thanks, tips. Like, until you're pregnant, you can't tell me about that because you don't know what it's like to have morning sickness. Like, and if you have morning sickness, you have to eat every 2 hours. And guess what you have to eat? Well, I had to eat because this is my body. But my body wanted bagels and cream cheese. And that was it.
Yeah.
You know, like a vegetable made me throw up. A fruit made me throw. And this is a person who was paleo, right? So like, I haven't touched a bagel since I was 8 years old. And nor do I want to touch a bagel. Like, this is not something I want to do. I want to, like, nurture my child and give him all the nutrients because I know how important that is. Can't touch it. Can't look at it. Can't touch it. Can't smell it. I wanted a bagel and fucking cream cheese. And so guess what I ate 3 times a day?
Bagel and cream cheese?
So I wouldn't throw up.
Right.
So until you've experienced that, don't tell me what I need to be doing in my diet. Like, do you think I felt good about it? Like, I feel terrible that I'm eating a bagel and cream cheese.
I'm already big.
I'm big. I'm like, I feel like crap. I'm, my face is breaking out. I'm bigger than I want to be. I'm trying to be, I take pride in my diet to keep my body healthy. So of course I take pride in feeding my child healthy.
Totally.
Right? Like, even to this day, I make my own baby food. Like,
how much food did you make him? I saw that post. How much food did you make him before you came down here?
So much food. I was like, he's got to have all the options. Like, I made him like greens and collard greens and Swiss chard and papaya. I'm like, he has got to have all the things.
And how much food did you make Rob?
Right? And I was like, yeah, screw you. No,
I've got steak.
I'm like, yeah, you got a freezer full of steak. You're good. But it's crazy how people want to give you their opinion. And I'm like, you don't know what it's like, though. Like, go ahead and tell me 300 calories. But, like, when you're vomiting, the only thing you can do to not do that is eat a bagel. You're going to eat that bagel.
Right.
Because you've just dealt with 6 weeks of having the stomach flu all day, every day. I mean, it's not fun.
Which is a super shitty experience.
It's hard.
Right.
So, it's so true, but it's awful. And then you come out of it, and you get your second trimester, and things change, and then you're able to change your diet. And so it's all cyclical and all that.
Right.
But people want to tell you, like, oh, like, you're really big, or, oh, like, you look like this, or look like you should do this, or you should do that. And it's like, no, it's my body.
Right.
Like, I'm experiencing lots of things that I've never experienced before. I'm also scared.
Right.
Like, I'm about to have a child. So there's a lot of emotional stuff that's going on. I mean.
And touching you?
Oh, when people touch you? Oh, that's weird.
Grocery store?
People touch your baby? I have people want to touch my kid's cheeks or like around his. I'm like, why are you touching his mouth? Get your hands out of my kid's face. Like, oh, it's so weird. Oh man, I don't know.
People are so weird about it.
People are weird.
It's I don't know. I don't get it.
This is a public service announcement to everyone out there. Never tell a pregnant woman that she looks like she's having twins. Just don't tell her that.
Right.
No woman wants to hear she looks huge. She knows she looks huge. Don't tell her she looks huge. Do not comment on a pregnant person's diet. Like, unless you see her smoking, in my opinion, we should all, like, say something to a woman if she's pregnant and she's smoking. But other than that, don't comment on a woman doing anything when she's pregnant. It's just not... not
right.
good. Just don't do it. And don't ask someone if you don't know they're pregnant.
I was gonna say, that's my rule of thumb. Like, don't ask, because the last thing you need is like, I'm not.
If she's wearing a maternity shirt, like if there's like a bow above her belly and there's a bow, she's pregnant. Like, that is a good
I'm showing
sign.
this thing off.
Yeah, like there's a bow there. Am I celebrating my belly? Like, that's when you know it's like, when are you due? Otherwise, don't ask a woman when she's due.
Yeah.
That's like a good general rule. And, if a woman just had a kid, like, don't make a comment about pre-pregnancy weight. Don't bring it up. Oh, you look great. Or, oh my gosh, like, are you almost back into your clothes? Like, why do you even think that is in my mind right now?
Right.
I don't give a shit
and
about
why
my
you
pre-pregnancy
feel
clothes.
you can ask me.
Yeah, like, why? Oh, like, you asked me if I'm in my pre-pregnancy clothes. Like, that's your business. How? Like, what if I don't ever want to be that thin again? What if I don't ever want, like, do I have to be that? Do I have to be my pre-pregnancy self? Yeah. Because I'm a different person now. I have a kid. I'm a different human. Having a child changes you.
Yeah.
It changed who you are. So I'm like, I'll never really be that person again. I also don't need to be 15% body fat again.
Right.
Like, that's not even healthy for my body. My body was telling me that.
And you weren't even happy.
I wasn't happy. And that still wasn't even good enough. I mean, it's like we all try to be this perfect version of ourselves, and this journey. I love the saying, this journey to self-love, because I think we're all in it, and we all have our good days and our bad days. And I'm actually more comfortable with my body now than I've ever been before in my life. Postpartum, heavier than I've ever been. and on the scale, but different body composition, obviously, because I training versus not training, which should be how you explore your body, right? To change it and to enhance it and be stronger and be more capable and be a better person. And but we all have our days, right? Like we all have our good days and bad days, and celebrate your body and be critical of your body, and you have your friends that you can turn to and your people who you can turn to bitch it out sometimes and have a day where you're like, oh. And then, but it's this journey of self-love and self-acceptance of like, it's much cooler, in my opinion, to be funny and dynamic and strong and capable and happy than to look good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that's like a super great lesson for everybody. And just to feel permission that they can feel a certain way, or women and men, how to support their partner or their clients. In that process. And I think that's a really powerful message. What's a piece of advice that you have for young trainers getting in the industry, trying to make it to this level where you're at today?
Be passionate. Be passionate about what you do. Care about every single thing, because you don't know what your clients are going through. There's people that I have worked with that got so irritating to me. I'm like, oh God, shut up. It's what I'm thinking. Like they're texting me and I'm like, I told you already that this is what you need to do with your diet. This is what you need to do with exercise. And then you get to know them a little bit better.
Yeah.
And you realize that they have certain disorders, whether it's the thyroid, or they lost a baby, or they lost a brother, or they are bipolar, or they have some sort of issue, or they have PCOS, which is causing them to not lose weight. Like there's a lot of things that we don't understand right off the bat, and you need to be patient with your clients because they're coming to you for a reason. They're coming to you because they want to better themselves. They want to get stronger. They want to feel more confident, right? They want to change their lives. And I've had the opportunity, I want to say I've had the privilege to change people's lives. I've had people come up to me and say, "You changed my life," and it's a privilege. That does more for me. One person saying that to me like makes my life worth it, right? Like that's all I ever want to do for somebody. So know that you have that power, right? And that's nothing to be taken lightly. Like, don't get frustrated with your clients and listen and be there. And you don't know what they're going through. And like we all say, don't ever judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Because we've all got stuff, right? Like down deep, we've all got stuff.
Yeah.
So be patient, be supportive. They really just need a cheerleader at the end of the day. And coach them as best as you can. And if they never change, let's say they never physically change. Because I think that's a lot of trainers judge their success on physical change.
Yes.
You don't know what you did for them in their lives.
Yes.
Right? Like
absolutely.
You might not, especially older women who go through menopause, they hit a certain body shape, and you can't change it because of their hormones, because of estrogen and progesterone and all these things, that you can't change your body. But it does so much more for them and their health.
Yeah.
And because they're not going to change physically, but for their health, it's a night and day difference. I mean, it's can be life changing. So just know that, be patient, and understand that with people, that it's not all about looks. And it's important to understand people. Yeah.
So where can people find you?
So our a lot of what we do at Gym Jones, we do have programming and training, and it's all online at gymjones.com.
Okay.
And then if you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at Lisa Maximus.
Okay.
LisaMaximus on Instagram.
Okay.
And then we also, for the Gym Jones women, so we have Gym Jones Salvation on Instagram, and we have Gym Jones Women.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that'll all be in the show notes.
Yeah.
So
those are a few ways to find us.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm really excited to spend the weekend with you.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Thanks again for listening to the Fitness Break Room podcast, everybody. You can follow us on Instagram at Fitness Break Room. And if you're looking to enter our monthly fitness swag giveaway, you can visit our website, fitnessbreakroom.com, and all that info's on the homepage. Hundreds of dollars worth of awesome stuff, so I wouldn't miss that. And then you can even subscribe to this podcast on iTunes and leave us a review if you're digging what we're bringing you. That would be awesome and very helpful. Okay, guys, have a beautiful week. Stay strong, and always look out for the little guy.
Eyes in the skies.